Hey everybody, we're back, and this is going to be yet another long-form podcast from your bearded brothers. I'm Matt.
I'm kind of Chris, I guess.
You're part Chris, part beer at this point.
Part aluminum, too.
Part aluminum, too, yeah. I don't know what'll happen with the job. Happy Labor Day, happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. We are recording this on a Saturday, and we have... Oh boy, do we have a lot of crap to get through.
Big week.
So where do we start? Let's start with sad news real quick that is outside the world of sports, which is rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett. The Margaritaville guy has passed away. So he is now going to waste away in Margaritaville up in heaven. Peace out, Jimmy Buffett.
You know, that's the way he wants to go.
Yeah, probably. All right. The only really big news that I've paid any attention to, there are two pieces, and they're both hockey news. Because football's ramping up, so, you know, like, we're gonna get to football, but that's there's nothing newsworthy, per se.
Well, no, I mean, there is.
Eh.
There was that one big contract. We should probably mention that at some point. We did mention it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that real quick.
We should mention that.
Yeah, we'll talk the two hockey things real quick, and then we'll talk the big contract from football. And and then we'll move into the 1-32, our spicy season takes, and then we will do a preview and our picks
Week
for
one
the
predictions,
first week of the NFL, and then we'll close it.
Which is going to be so random because we have no idea what to make. It's going to be really tough to do those predictions.
It's going to be total gut feeling, and this is probably going to be the one where we're like, the first 3 to 4 weeks, we're probably going to have
really wrong.
Horrible scores, guys. Just to let you know. All right.
Like, honestly, I would love to do like the very end, tally up all of our weeks and just see how wrong or right we were. I think that'd be kind of fun.
I'll keep it on.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun.
All right. So, yeah, and then each week we can do our season stats where we sit for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I like that. All right. So the two big hockey news pieces are both news out of Toronto. First off, Austin Matthews will remain a Leaf for the next 4 years as he has signed a massive 4-year contract. It's one of the richest contracts out there, but it's only 4 years. And what they're expecting is that the salary cap, by the time his contract ends, will have increased exponentially, because it hasn't. It's been flat for several years. They're going to boost that quite a bit to keep up with everything. So after 4 years, he'll probably be in a position to sign a really long deal. So it's kind of a weird bridge deal, but I want to say it was like $13 million a year, something like that.
I think so. I think that's what I read.
13 some odd million a year. It's just a little more than Nathan McKinnon's deal. So Matthews' deal puts him in the range of McDavid. So,
gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, that's really good. And then the Leafs have extended coach Sheldon Keefe for, I want to say, 2 years.
I think so.
It was either 1 or 2 years. But they're going to keep Keefe around. Look, I get where Leafs fans would come from and say that keeping Keefe is a bad idea. The man is like, has almost, I think he's 117, 60, and 20 something. He's got damn near twice as many wins as he does losses. Now, you can point to the playoffs and go, yeah, but then he folds in the playoffs. You're making it to the playoffs every year.
At least it's something.
Yeah, you guys are a lot better than you were back in the days when, you knew you were going to finish on the bottom of the fucking barrel.
Exactly.
All right? Look at the years coming into the Austin Matthews years and tell me those were fun times.
Don't lie to me.
Look at the Babcock years. Ugh. All right. So, moving away from that, real quick, we got to talk about it. We didn't think it was going to happen, and then it happened.
A couple days after that, yeah.
TJ Hockenson got his deal. And
got his big deal.
Yeah, big deal. I believe it does reset the tight end market as well.
He's one of the highest paid now. I don't know if I don't think he is the highest, but I think he's definitely like second or third at this point.
66 million over 4 years.
Because I think the only one that's making more is Kelsey, right?
Let me find out.
Because I think Kelsey was like 69 or something like that. 68, something like that.
I want to say it's something like that for him.
At least I thought it was. I could totally be misremembering.
Yeah. But yeah, his deal doesn't kick in till next season.
Which is the nice part.
Yeah.
The downside is we also have to somehow find a way to pay JJ.
Yeah, and that to me tells me
they have to move off Kirk or at least sign him to another 1-year deal.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They're probably, in my opinion, they're going to move off of Kirk.
Yeah, they have to. They either have to move off of him or get him to a small 1-year extension. And the only way he gets that 1-year extension is if we make a deep playoff run, to be honest with you. I don't see it happening if we don't make playoffs, and I definitely don't see it happening at that point.
All right. So, the tight end salary rankings according to Over the Cap. Hockenson, $17.125 million. Darren Waller, $17 million. George Kittle, $15 million. Travis Kelce, $14 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Granted, I think his contract's partway through, so that
I guess that's surprising. He had 4 years, $57 million.
He'll make one if he gets another contract. He'll make way more than that.
Goddard, $14.2 million. Mark Andrews, $14 million. Evan Ingram, $13.75 million. Njoku, $13.6 million. Knox, $13 million. Komet, $12.5. Hunter Henry, $12.5. And then
there's only a couple names in there that confuse me. Mostly towards the top, like Waller. Waller's good. 17 mil good. I don't think he's proven that he's worth that. I think he will this year, to be honest with you. Yeah, to be honest with you, this year I think he will prove that he can be that money. But in years past, he's been too injured. So
yeah, but I found
the drop off from those top two is ridiculous. I mean, what was it, like 17 million a piece almost, and then it drops down to 14 or 15 or whatever.
Like,
15 and then 14, and like it drops like a quick rock.
15 for a Kittle.
Yeah, like that's crazy to me.
However, if you look at it overall, Kittle was on a 5-year, $75 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
Kelce is 4 years, $57 million. Goddard is 4 years, $57 million.
Mm-hmm.
Andrews was 4 years, $56 million.
Andrews should also be making way more than that too.
Yeah, but Kittle actually reset the market with the overall money on the contract with 75 mil.
Yeah.
The reason Waller's cap hit is so high is his deal's only 3 years. It's 3
years.
Oh,
that's true.
It's 3 years, $51 million.
Okay, that's not that unreasonable then.
It's not entirely unreasonable, no. But, and then Evan Ingram is 3 years, $41 million. Kelce is only 4 years, $57.25 million.
Yeah, when he gets his next contract, which I assume is going to be due within the next year or two,
I believe so, yes.
He's going to get big money, I think.
I think he's going to reset the market again.
Yeah, he has to. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
I'd be very surprised.
I'm surprised that the Vikings were able to push that for TJ. Don't get me wrong. TJ's a great tight end. I'm not disputing that he's a top 5 tight end in the league right now, but I don't think he's worth the top spot either. No offense.
I would agree with you, but we'll see if he pans.
Maybe
out,
he balls out. If he balls out all of a sudden,
winds up worth it. You know what?
I'm not going to complain about it. No.
Love to you.
Yeah.
Love to you.
I just think if I think of top tight ends, I think of Kelce, Kittle, and Andrews. Those are my top 3.
I would lump Goddard in there.
Goddard, yeah, he's not as flashy as the others.
He is not as flashy as the others, but I would definitely lump Goddard in there. And then I think we'll find out this year that
I think Waller is definitely going to be worth it. Yeah.
And I think Evan Ingram is just below that tier, but he's also had
he's very
issues.
close. He's right there.
Yeah. So there's a group of them that are they're really good, but those three that you mentioned are head and shoulders like the best. Like everybody's seeking them.
Like, let's be honest, the Ravens without Mark Andrews would have been absolute dog shit last year.
Yes.
They just would have been.
Let's be realistic. All right. So you didn't. One of us did our homework, and the other one of us did not. I'll leave it for you.
No, I made it entertaining.
You know what? If that's your excuse, I'll go with it. I was going to say I'll leave it to these people to decide who did what.
No, I made it entertaining. I'm giving gut reactions.
So because of that, I'll go. You know what? Since it's gut reaction, how about you go first on your gut reaction, so I don't taint your gut reaction with my actual researched reaction.
You know, that's fair. That's actually not bad.
Hey, I'm trying to make it entertaining now.
I got a list of them, and I'm gonna be writing them down, so I hopefully don't double up on teams. If I do, call me out on it, obviously.
I won't notice. I won't notice till I edit this.
No, I mean somebody will. It doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
Either you or a viewer will.
We're up to 21 of those now.
Exactly. So I mean, there's a couple options for the first pick, but I already chose what my first was right off the bat. People might agree, people might disagree.
We're starting
I don't
at
give
32,
a shit.
by the way.
We're starting at 32.
Started at 32.
And I think to be fair, I think most people are going to agree with me on this one, though. It's got to be the Cardinals. Like, they're just... Who is their quarterback? I don't think I need a better reason than that. Who's their quarterback?
Actually, they came out and said that they are not going to name a starter.
Exactly. So who the fuck is their quarterback?
I think they're going to go week to week on it.
It's not going to work. That's never worked.
Quarterback by committee.
Quarterback roulette. It never works. It never works.
Never works. It's horrible.
Yep.
I agree with you. I also have Arizona at 32. I previously, in my last power rankings before the preseason, after the draft, ranked them at 32.
I think we both did, actually.
I think we both did. And I said, let's be honest, Murray isn't coming back this season, and you cut McCoy. You're tanking hard. Embrace it, and the first overall pick that you will trade for a king's ransom.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah.
Or they'll keep it to get the quarterback.
I mean, you could.
I've heard that is an option.
Yeah, but then you've got to trade Murray, and I don't think Murray nets you nearly what that first overall pick does. Because
it depends if they even want Murray in the first place.
Huh?
It depends if they even want Murray anymore.
But, you got
They might just be willing to take that hit. It's
if
possible.
They are willing to take that hit, I'm not sure. But
yeah,
I get it, but I don't get it. I don't think, because of the way his contract is structured, I'm not sure trading him is tenable for anybody. Not only do I not think it's tenable, I think it'd be very, very difficult to move him. There's a few teams out there.
There's a few teams that might make the attempt, but yeah, Cardinals would have to take on probably a substantial amount of his contract still.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if they really, really don't want to keep Murray, that they might just do that anyways. Like, just get him out of the door. Murray probably needs... Honestly, I don't think Murray is going to be good with this organization. I think he needs to go elsewhere if he's going to have any success.
I personally would agree, but I'd like to see what he could do under another coach with a totally new regime. One that might hold him better accountable and help him reach his potential.
That's fair.
So, all right. So we both agree on 32. Who do you have at 31?
This is where shit hits the fan real hard. Because I know kind of how I want my top 10, 15-ish to look. Everything after and in between 32 and there is fucking I don't know question marks. So
I'll let you know when we get to my, okay, I'm just throwing shit at a wall.
I feel like I'm already kind of throwing shit at the wall. There's a couple teams that I could put here that I can make arguments for why I'm going to put them here, but I'm trying to just decide what order I want to put them in and if I think it's fair to do what I'm going to do. Because I feel like the next set of grouping of teams are going to be kind of, fighting each other for the roughly 10 spots here. So I just don't know who's going to actually end up being the worst out of those, and it's going to be a little tough. But looking at preseason a little bit and kind of gauging how teams have drafted and done things, I think, because I know that we had originally, historically, I'm pretty sure on the previous list I had Texans and Panthers pretty low down. But I think there's enough improvement that I don't want to put them down this low. So, but I don't also want to. Oh man, this is tough. You know what? If there's a team that I think could do really, this is a team. Okay, I got a team that I'm gonna put here. The problem is I think they could be so much better than this spot, but at the same time I just have too many question marks based on last season and preseason. I'm actually gonna put the Rams here because I love Stafford to death, but then also hearing about how Stafford's having issues potentially with his locker room. Then there's the question marks of health.
I have them a little higher up, but that is something that definitively brought them down for me.
Like, there's so many, and their drafting hasn't been great, mostly because they don't have a lot of draft picks to work with because they gave up everything for that one Super Bowl run.
Yep.
I just have too many question marks to really throw them high, and there are going to be definitely teams on here that you guys are going to say that it should swap around with them, but I think the next 10 spots are going to have a lot of teams that you could easily argue moving up a couple spots here and there.
Yeah,
this is one of those teams.
I agree with that. But for me, there was one team that I could put here, and I did, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I think that they're going to be bad this season, but I don't think they're going to be bad for long, provided they do the right things. They've got a bunch of potential issues brewing on the horizon, but there's potential to... It sounds like their GM, at least, maybe not their owner, it sounds like their GM wants to try to smooth things over, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. Because their GM did come out and say that, it sounds like Taylor wants out, but bridges can be repaired, roads can be repaired, relationships can be repaired. I think Jim Irsay has to shut the f*** up, but, Taylor, the problem that I have, and the reason they're down here, Taylor is starting the season on the physically unable to perform list. This means he's out at minimum 4 weeks before he can reactivate. And once they reactivate him, they have, I want to say, 21 days or something like that he has to practice before they have to put him on the 53-man roster, or he has to sit the entire season. If he gets activated and then can't go and has to sit this season out on the PUP, that's going to affect Richardson. Richardson loses a target out of the backfield. He loses a great running back. They're already starting to be short on running backs. I don't like their wide receiver room right now. I think it's shallow. I don't even know who their tight end room is. And they traded away one of their best defensive players in the offseason from cornerback. Nothing looks like it's going right this season, but with Richardson in the room now, in the organization, you've got room to build. What you do with Taylor is going to really determine how you build and where you go from here.
So actually, one of the reasons I didn't pick the Colts is just simply because I'm like, JT just automatically puts him up a couple spots as long as he stays.
Yeah, but
and again, currently we're going based on that he's going to be a part of the team.
Yes, but again, he's out for at least 4 weeks.
Yeah,
which is
he's
why
out for 4 weeks, which is not great.
If he was not out for 4 weeks and had made a commitment more to staying, and it sounded like his health was improving, I would definitively have boosted them up over a couple of teams. But where I'm not sure about his health, I put them at 31.
Fair enough.
So 30.
All right.
Oh, I
kind of have an idea.
Them at 31 last time too.
I've looking at the teams, I kind of have an idea of where I'm going to put teams. I think another team I'm going to put at 30 here is a team that I have question marks for that could be way honestly better than the position I'm going to put them in, but I just have concerns, and that's actually going to be the Raiders. I really have concerns, specifically with Garoppolo and the fact that he's always okay, but highly injurable. They have a good wide receiver room as long as they can get the ball. And coaching is a question mark to say the best. So, with that said, I put the Raiders at 30. They could be way better because we've seen a Garoppolo-led offense and a Garoppolo-led team, as long as he's protected, play well. But that's a big if.
I totally understand where you're coming from. They're also pretty low on my list, but they're not this low yet. At 30 for me, I put a team that last time I was pretty high on, and I ranked 19th. I dropped them all the way down to 30th, just because after watching the new quarterback play, and after watching everything that's happened, they're not ready yet. Now, they are taking steps in the right direction. I am, of course, talking about the Houston Texans. Are they taking steps in the right direction? Absolutely. Stroud is not going to get you to the playoffs this year at all.
Probably not.
I don't even know that you're going to have a winning season this year. You're going to have a really piss-poor season. Tough. But Tank Dell looks fun and good, and Mechie looks fun and good, and Stroud will get better, and Anderson looks pretty doggone good. And there's a lot of reasons to be hopeful. But I still think that this year is going to be another struggle bug year, and you're going to end up with a top 5 pick. It's just my feeling on it.
Very possible. Very possible.
And you could use that to grab another wide receiver, or to grab a massive defensive back, or some other thing that you need. Now, is your running back going to help? Absolutely. Pierce was amazing last year.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to lean on him, though, a lot, and hopefully he doesn't get injured. But there's a reason you're down here, and it's rookie quarterbacks traditionally struggle, and Stroud has definitely looked like he's struggling in the preseason.
Agreed.
All right, 29.
I can see that. So I'm going to make a statement here. I'm going to make a very clear statement, because this team has woefully underperformed for what has been expected of them for the last 2 years, and I'm finally putting down my foot and going, I don't care how seasoned or great your coach has been. It's not good enough anymore. It's the fucking Patriots. It's not good enough anymore. I hate to say it, like, yeah, you have one of the best coaches to ever coach. And what has he done within the last 2 years? Has he forced his team to fit his mold, or has he attempted to try to mold his play style to his team? Because I can clearly tell you it's the former, not the latter. And because of that, they're fucking failing, and they're going to continue to fail until he either leaves or finds players that fit his system.
So for my 29, I'm picking a team that I had 25th, so they're still near the bottom. I am now less high on them than I was, but it's simply because I'm worried about the growth of their quarterback. I think that he's got all the talent in the world. He's athletic as fuck. But there are times when I'm sure that man could fall out of a boat and miss the lake. And that's going to be the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. Look, I don't hate Justin Fields. I'm rooting for the kid. But
I don't have him quite so low in my mind, but yeah, I see where you're coming from though.
But you understand
where
I'm coming from. There are times when...
Plus, the rest of the team is still kind of like...
my dude?
And plus, there's still questions on that defense. Like, their offense looks pretty good, but there's a lot of questions on that defense.
The offense is getting a lot better, but if Justin Fields can't be consistent, the Bears are still going to struggle. That's why I have them at 29. They were previously 25th, so they're still in the same category. I think I have them about right. All right, 28.
That's fair. So 28, I'm going with a team that you've actually already mentioned for pretty much the same reasons. I just have a slightly higher output on them, which is the Colts. Um, I I I just
Because
I
Jonathan
only have them
Taylor's
a
worth
couple.
at least 2
It's
spots.
just that's exactly it. It's just because JT I think is worth a couple spots. That's your sole reason, and I think Richardson is going to be okay, but you're going to see a lot of really great things from him and a lot of
What the
really
fuck are
oh
you
my
doing
god,
things?
why are you doing that things.
Yes. All right. So at my 28, I'm going with a team you've already mentioned. I previously had them at 26th, and it's for pretty much the same reason you mentioned. It's the LA Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Stafford is having issues connecting with his younger team members. That was an actual story
That was a real thing.
from his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a real thing. That's not a good thing.
That's not good, dudes.
No,
I
that's
think
not
this
good.
year looks like a repeat of last year. It's going to be confirmation that it's time to just tear it down. You also lost one of your best secondary members. You traded Jalen Ramsey away. And, I mean, what's your defense now? Your defense is essentially Aaron Donald and string.
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Let's be realistic here.
You're not wrong on that.
Okay, 27.
So 27, I had this team, I think, higher up in our after our offseason ranking, and I thought that they had made enough moves to potentially look really, really good this season, but I don't think their new QB is ready, and I don't think the team is quite ready. They still have some growth to do, and I am actually putting the Panthers at 27. I liked what I've seen from Young, but there's a lot of questions still there for me, and I wasn't impressed enough.
I did drop the Panthers in mine because I had them a lot higher in my preseason rankings, in my post draft rankings, but I dropped them to the bottom 20, into the bottom 20 and below on the ranking. So the bottom 12 teams. In fact, they are in the bottom 10 now. I will let you know when we get to the.
So we're probably not that far away then from where
we're not. But my number 27, and I totally get where you're coming from on that, but my 27 is also a team that you have already mentioned. And it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders, yeah.
I previously had them at 21. They did drop to 27. I am also worried about Jimmy G. Now, they do have Aiden O'Connell, and I think he looks really good.
Oh, yeah, he'll be the good replacement. I think he's the actual replacement at some point. I just don't know when.
I'm also worried about their defense right now.
Oh, God, yeah.
Look, you've got two guys coming off the end, provided that Tyree is... that Wilson is healthy. I've heard he might not be.
I have also heard he might not be.
Yeah, so there's that. I don't know what's going on with you guys, but yeah, problems. 26.
So this is actually going to be kind of funny because this is also a team you've already mentioned, and listen, they're both teams with new quarterbacks, so frankly, it's not surprising. The Texans are going at 26. I think the Texans are just a hair smidge better off than the Panthers are, but they're kind of in the same boat in my pick here. They're really neck and neck in the same kind of spot. They're on the way up, but they have another year or two of development to go.
Yeah. At my 26 is also a team that you've already mentioned.
Oh, all right.
I had them 22nd in the previous rankings. And it's going to be Bill and the New England Patriots. I'm still worried about Mac. Didn't see him a whole lot in the preseason.
Worried about Mac, yeah.
I have no idea if he's ready to go or not. And I don't know how well they'll actually do. And I think bringing in Zeke muddles up an RB room that was ready to go with Stevenson in it.
Yep.
It also doesn't help that your division is going to be a fucking meat grinder this year.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun times for him. It's really not.
25.
All right. Well, back to the same old team you've already mentioned. Again, for a lot of the same reasons we've already discussed about great quarterback, sometimes makes terrible decisions, questionable defense. It's the fucking Bears. I think they will be better than this spot they're put at. I think they have a really good. They're the team that has a particularly high ceiling, but a particularly low floor. like, I just don't think they will be. They could be really good, but they could be really bad. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep. Okay, so for my 25 is a team that I kind of bought into being better than what I had them in the previous rankings. Because previously I had them 30th.
Hmm.
And it's going to be the Dirty Birds from Atlanta. The Falcons come in at my number 25 spot. I think they've gotten better. Ritter still has to prove himself, but Robinson has looked pretty dynamic. Drake London has looked like the man, and Kyle Pitts coming back and being able to play, hopefully, a full season will help. They're going to be fun to watch. I don't know if it's going to translate into any wins, but it will be fun to watch. That's why they're at 25, because their division is also pretty doggone good.
Yes. Agreed.
Especially the top two. All right. 24.
So this next one I don't think comes as a big surprise. They could have probably gone on the board actually even sooner than this because there is still question marks. But the only reason I'm not is because I saw a slight amount of magic that made me question, is their QB potentially coming back? And I am putting the Browns here. Because it is only an inkling. It was only a slight flash. But I saw the flash of Watson and went, that could actually be dangerous if he continues. But based on last season, we can't assume that's going to happen. So they are still kind of down here in the realm of the question marks. I don't know if they're going to be kind of good, but they might be. Who knows?
I feel where you're coming from. I have a team here at 24 that's in a similar circumstance. And in fact, this is exactly where I ranked them in my other rankings. They didn't move. But I feel like they could. It's just so many other teams jumbled around and moved based off of what I saw in the preseason and how people were playing that they necessitated staying right here. And that's going to be the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
They look better, but there's still questions, and Judy is not ready to go yet. He's still questionable with some hamstring stuff, and then how ready is their running back, and can Russ find his form, and how did the time away from the game affect Sean Payton's reading of the game? There's a lot of questions that the Broncos have to answer, which is why they're at 24. Now, do I think they could surprise a lot of people this year? Absolutely, and I could be eating a lot of crow for this pick, putting them down as far as I have.
Yeah, hard to say.
But, moving along. 23.
So, let me see here. At 23, I'm also going to put another team that looks like they could be potentially on the upswing, but maybe not quite there yet. And I'm going to pit the Washington Commanders here. Because I actually think that they have a better team than people think, but I still don't think it's going to be enough to really push them this year. But they're on the upswing, I think.
So, at 23, I also have a team that I previously ranked 29th, and it is the Washington Commanders. Howell looks pretty doggone good.
He does, yeah.
I was impressed with him in the preseason. Whether or not that translates to season play or not, we'll see. But so far, from the small sample size we have, I think he could be pretty good. I think they could make some noise. But they play in the extremely loaded NFC East. This is a conference that was the NFC least and has become the NFC beast.
Mm-hmm.
That conference is absolutely loaded now all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And it only took like a 2-season turnaround, and all of a sudden, like, they have 3 legitimate playoff contenders in that conference.
I would say 2.5, but that's just me.
Well, they sent 3 last year.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think they're going to send 3 next this year. I just don't.
All right. 22.
So 22, I'm putting a team that I've been higher up on for a bit, but I've also kind of cooled off a little bit on. It's a team that you have already mentioned. It is the Dirty Birds, the Falcons. I still am high on Ritter. I think Ritter will be really good, but he has to kind of get over some of his antsiness, I guess is the better way to put it. Like just that kind of jitters. And if he can get over those jitters, I think he has the mobility, the reading, and the arm talent to do good. He just needs to kind of get over those jitters of wanting to leave the pocket too early.
I feel you on that. So 22 is a team that I have cooled off on quite a bit from where I initially had them in my other rankings. I had them at 15. They are now at 22. And that is the Carolina Panthers. Now,
I cooled off on them a lot harder than you did.
Unlike you, I think they are in a better position than Houston. Watching that last game, that last preseason game, I could see where Bryce Young was starting to feel it. Far more than I saw out of CJ Stroud. So I think Young adjusts quicker. He's got more weapons, and that's going to be the difference. And his defense is better. The defense for the Panthers is better. I still don't think they're going to be top tier. I still don't think they're going to be top tier contenders in their division.
Yeah.
At least not this year. Maybe next year, but probably the year after that is when they're going to really start.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
That's when they're really going to start rolling. That's when things are going to start falling in place. I don't know if they get a top 10 pick in the draft this year. They could. I definitely say they're going to be in the top 15.
I could see it. Yeah.
But they're getting better, but also New Orleans and Tampa are looking really good. 21.
Speaking of Tampa, I am actually going to put them at 21 because I think the Bucks have shown that they have improved. However, I know Baker enough to go, man, I love Baker, but he's so inconsistent. And that's my issue. And he's a gunslinger, which means, he's going to get a lot of interceptions. And the defense is, any good defenses he plays against, particularly, is going to eat him alive if they can. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm putting him here. They have improved. I don't know if Baker is their long-term solution, and if he is, he's going to have to prove it this year to me.
I feel you on that. We're not far off from where I have the Bucks, but I don't have them here. At 21, I have a team that I was really low on because up until a couple of weeks ago, they literally didn't have pass catchers, in my opinion. They were 28th in my last rankings, and it is, of course, the Tennessee Titans. Now, getting Hopkins helps, but I think his days as a true number one receiver are behind him.
Probably, but they also got that, who's that other rookie that was balling out for him?
Don't know right now. Point is...
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. Beyond Hopkins, you got the rookie. You maybe have the guy that was from last year's rookie and whether or not he steps forward, but you really don't know what you've got beyond that. They're probably, with Henry, good enough for second in the AFC South. Sadly, I think that leaves them on the outside looking in from the wildcard picture.
Probably.
All right,
Probably true.
Number 20.
I know people are going to really hate this, that if we get substantial enough people that actually watch this, that there's going to be some people who are going to really dislike where I put this team. But they still have to prove that they're ready to go, and I just don't think they are, regardless of how well their QB may or may not have played. I'm putting the fucking Packers here. I still have too many questions on if Jordan Love can be consistent, on if their defense is actually going to be kind of good this year or not, or if their offense is even going to really get moving. Like, they have a couple good pass catchers. They have an okay running back. You see what I'm saying? There's just a lot of, like, going on with the Packers right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So because of that, they did not crack my top 20.
We'll get to them in a minute. But at 20, I have the Cleveland Browns.
So you're higher up on them than I am.
23 for me. The AFC North is going to be a flippin' meat grinder, man. I'm not even kidding, man. But I put the Browns here because they could either be the worst team in the North or they could win it. And you could literally say that about any team in the AFC North, except maybe the Bengals. Because the Bengals are either going to win it or come in like second. I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, it's probably true. Unless Burrow gets injured, that's probably what's going to happen.
Burrow gets injured, which he's starting injured potentially, but we don't know.
It sounds like he'll be ready for week 1, but I don't know.
It sounds like it, but we don't know. So I will say that I feel like out of all the teams in the AFC North, they have the most fluctuation. Watson does look improved, and DTR looks like the future.
Probably.
But yeah, it's we'll have to see.
Yeah.
19.
So, I'm slightly higher up on this team than you were when you chose them, but not by that many spots. I am putting the Titans here for pretty much all the same reasons you already mentioned. I just think that they're just slightly better than what you thought, but obviously not that far different.
So at 19, I will put the Cheeseheads from Green Bay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not a whole lot higher than you are. Just a touch. I think Love looks like he could be pretty good. I don't know that he's going to be Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. But
no,
good,
I don't think so.
Serviceable starter? Yes, I think that's what we'll see out of him. He still has some accuracy issues, and he's going to be good, but maybe not great. The rest of everything else for them is where I really began to question. You know, you've got young receivers, Dobbs and Watson. Do they play well? How's your running back game going to hold up? What does your defense look like? There's a lot of questions in Packerland. If it all puts together nicely, they could potentially challenge for the North title because this division is really weird. But if it all goes south, they could end up with a worse record than the Bears.
They could.
I don't think that'll happen, but...
I don't think so, but it could happen.
All right, 18.
Okay, this is another one where I think I'm going to get some people possibly groaning at me on this one. Okay. I think what happened last season for this team was better than what people expected or hoped for. And I think that their QB played way better than what would be normally expected of him. I do not think they'll be a repeat this year. I think they'll still be good, but I do not think that they will be a great team. I am putting the Seahawks at 18. I just don't. There's that hype on Geno Smith, and don't get me wrong, I think he's good, but I don't think he'll be great, and I don't think he's going to repeat the season he had. I just don't.
Okay.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, I get it. I look at it and I think their defense. We'll get to why I think.
Their defense is very stifling. I think that's what's going to keep them in most games, but I just don't think it'll be enough.
And now you've got another wide receiver with JSN, and he doesn't need to entirely repeat what he did last year. If he's even if he's even 3/4 of what he was last year, they'll still be pretty good.
Maybe. I just don't think they'll be as good as they were. Is all I'm saying.
We'll see.
I might have them a little lower than they should be, but...
So at 18, I have a team that you've already mentioned, and I was really, really low on to start the season. And in fact, they jumped almost 10 spots for me. They were 27th previously, and it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you jumped them up even higher than I did.
Yeah, I was really low on them, but Baker's convinced me for right now to buy in.
he's good at that, man.
He's very good at that, but
every time you think he's done, all of a sudden he'll do something else. You're going,
really
holy shit!
Good in the preseason, and he's got Mike Evans and he's got Godwin. They've got a lot of weapons on that team. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
I've heard things with Evans. We'll see on that.
And I was just about to say the Evans drama isn't good for morale. He has set a date for his contract extension of the first week of the season. The first game. If they don't have one, they have to wait until after the season is over to negotiate with him.
Yep.
And apparently he and his agent haven't heard an offer at all. It's been total silence from the Tampa Bay ownership. So I don't know what they're planning on doing. But regardless, Evans is still coming in and wanting to stay there. He's made it known he wants to stay there. And it sounds like he's going to play his heart out for Tampa Bay this year. And I think that'll be good for Baker. I think they're going to challenge for the NFC South title. I really do. I don't think they'll win it. But I think they'll be up there.
To me, there is one team in particular that I think is better that will likely win it. And we'll get to them eventually.
And they're above them on my list. We're coming to them.
Yeah, we're getting there. I think they might be. I'm assuming they're the same team that we're thinking.
Yeah, so. I'm sure it is. So 17.
So this is a team that I also cooled off on pretty hardcore, especially after preseason. I still think that they have high potential, but I do have some questions, especially with some injuries that they just had, and I am putting the Dolphins at 17. I actually, I think most of last year had them almost in my top 10 consistently for a while. And I think Tua is a good quarterback. I think he's fine. But they have a lot of weird issues with running back space, and they had the wide receivers, but then now their defense seems like it's a little worrying, especially after losing out on who got injured? It was Ramsey, right?
I think so, yeah.
So like that's not good. You just trade for the guy and then he gets injured. Like that's not good. So with that, I think there's enough questions, mostly defensively, that's going to make me think that they're going to slip like this. That's the only reason. I think their offense is fine. I think it's the defense that's going to let them down.
So at 17, I also have the Dolphins. They were also 17 in my previous rankings. So I didn't move them at all. I think I have them right in the right spot. I think that their offense is going to be pretty good, especially their passing offense. It's going to be tough to slow down Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I don't think
that's a great duo.
That's an incredible duo on the idea of Smith and Brown, or Higgins and Chase.
Chase, yeah, Jamar Chase.
But I don't think that you're going to be able to. They're going to be really hard to slow down in the passing department. But they don't really have a run game. They've had some injuries at running back. Their defense is now looking a little shaky. Cam Smith is going to be pushed into a starting role right away with the injury to Ramsey. I don't know if Ramsey's going to make it back this season or not.
It sounds like he should, but it might not be until like halfway through the season.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be out at least half the season. So I don't know. And not only that, your division is flippin' loaded, my dude. Loaded.
Mm-hmm.
So I have them at 17 because I do think that they're going to run roughshod over the Packers this year. Or not the Packers, the Patriots this year.
The Patriots, yeah.
I think they're good enough to take at least third in their division.
Probably. At least
we'll
third.
Have to see, yeah. 16.
Okay, now we're finally to where I think the Broncos actually will probably be at. I think they'll be right down the fucking middle, pretty much. Like, Broncos. Like, I think they'll be improved, but they're still not going to be quite playoff contenders until I think probably next year.
I can see it. I'm not mad at that pick. I still have too many questions right now.
I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it.
However, my 16, these guys were 14th, and I bumped them down just because I cooled off ever so slightly on them. Not because I think they're going to be bad, but because they have a history, especially under their current coach, of just absolutely collapsing at the worst possible time, and have given rise to the meme of, They're going to Charger it up again, aren't they? And it is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh,
Look, I think they're a
man.
great team, and they have a horrible head coach.
I couldn't drop him down this low. Like, I know what you're saying, but I just couldn't do it to myself.
I did.
Because in my heart of hearts, I'm just like, the team is so good, though. No!
The team is really good. But if
not
somebody's
fair.
going to find a way to screw it up, it's Brandon Staley.
Fuck. Why is he still there? Okay.
Okay. So, 15th.
15, I am putting America's team, fucking Cowboys here. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's not bad. They're not too much further up my list, but they are still a little further up my list. So at 15, I will place the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. Okay.
I had them at 16th. Again, because last time, as I said, and it plays in this time, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to expect.
Okay.
With Kirk especially, you never know what you're going to get. Now, I do like some of our rookies. If Addison can run as fast on the field as he drives off of it, we'll be all right.
To be fair, a couple times we've seen him in preseason, he has looked really good.
Yes. I really am impressed with the play of some of our UDFAs, including Ivan Pace Jr., who, that dude, I think he's going to be the leader of that defense for a while. I'm
Probably.
really high on that guy.
And if Scene can continue to look good on safety,
Yeah,
I think we'll be...
Scene back in the safety
I think our
slot.
defense, honestly, when we get to him, I'll tell you more of the reasons why I put him where I put him. But like, I think
our defense is improved, and I think it's going to look pretty good under fucking Flores. I'm really happy that we have him. I think he's going to be a hell of a coordinator. I don't know how long he's going to be here, because I don't know how long it'll be until somebody poaches him as a coach. But for this year, he's here, and I'm happy about it. I'm not sure what to think about our offense right now. We do have JJ, we do have TJ, we do have AJ, or JA, pardon. We do have JA.
I was gonna say we have a lot of people
J's.
that have J's names, yeah.
And that's why I can't wait for Hall to be in there so that we can add to the names of J
on
our offense. We can have the J fence.
JH.
We can have the J fence.
Oh God, no.
I'm horrible. It's not an offense, it's a J fence.
God, no, stop that. Don't make that a thing.
I'm making it a thing. It's a thing now.
God dang it. No.
But I have too many questions where Kirk wilts at the wrong time. He's getting older. Does he still can he still play football? Absolutely. As we've mentioned, we don't hate Kirk Cousins. The dude is a massively good pocket passer. Okay. I'll even go so far as to say he might be a great pocket passer. But the league is not a pocket passing league anymore. The league requires you to roll around and move out of the pocket a bit. Kirk's got really good arm strength, even when he doesn't set himself. But he doesn't always make the best decision, and he tends to get flustered if you put him under any kind of pressure. And that is, I think, going to be the weak point of the Vikings.
Fair.
All right, 14.
Sorry, I'm just looking. I'm doing the math in my head for what teams I have left and figuring out where I want to put them. This is a team that I think I'm actually I'm a little low on, honestly. I think they have a high potential, but I just need to see a little bit more from them before I put them up into my top 10, where I think that they probably will be partway through this season. And that is going to be the Steelers. I love what they have going on, but I just want to see a bit more before they crack my top 10.
I feel that, but I'll get to why I put them where I put them when we get there.
That's fair.
So my 14, this team could also crack my top 10. We'll have to see how they play during the season. It's just right now, they are much higher up than where they were. They've moved up about 4 spots on my list. And it's primarily due to the fact that the new quarterback they brought in looks really good. And I'm highly impressed with it, and it is the New Orleans Saints. I have them at 14th. They are probably going to win the NFC South. I don't know if they are good enough to go beyond the first round of the playoffs, but They are probably going to win the NFC South. They are a very good team. Derek Carr. David is his brother.
David is his brother.
Derek Carr looks really good. He drove right down the field in his preseason plays and made touchdowns, and he looks good. And Jameis Winston looks like a hell of a backup. So I'm not going to crap on them. I just feel like there are teams above them that I have a little bit more confidence in right now.
That's fair. No, that's totally fair.
All right, 13.
So speaking of the Saints,
totally
this
fair.
is where I got them.
No, totally fair. We're pretty close on them.
Yeah, they moved up on my board. I think Derek Carr is coming out with a vengeance. I think he's here to prove everyone fucking wrong that it was the Raiders and not Derek Carr that was the problem. And during preseason, he showed it, and I think that's just going to continue into regular season. Like you said, I think they'll probably make it to the playoffs. I don't think that they'll get past the first round, and depending on who they play, but they're definitely going to be far and improved from what they were last year.
So my 13 is a team that I'm cooled off a little bit on. I'm not off the wagon yet. But I just feel like there are other teams that have made massive improvements, in my opinion, that have looked better. And it's the Detroit Lions. I previously had them at 8th.
Okay.
They had cracked my top 10, but I pulled them back out of it. And it's not because I think they're going to be bad. It's not because I think they're going to be crap. I still think they're probably going to win the North. But again, they look like a one and done, even if they win the North. You still only really got Amon-Ra St. Brown as the main pass catcher. I don't know who else is going to catch the football for you. You have to question whether or not Goff, like he did, was last year a fluke, or can he repeat that? How does Gibbs fit into all of this? How much, does your defense get better? Because it was pretty young. How does all of this play out? And Dan Campbell will have them ready to go. I think they will win the North. I just think there are other teams that I had to move above them. You could obviously interchange any of the teams from about 15 up, like 15 to like 11. All of those teams are kind of like interchangeable.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
All right, number 12.
So, this is a team I think I actually placed close to the same point by the end of the season. I think they were technically in my top 10, but I wouldn't say I've cooled off on this team. I would say that other teams just got better and jumped them a little bit more. And I think I have them probably on the low end of the scale because they're probably actually a top 10 team. But I just don't know which teams out of my current top 10 they would be overtaking, like, easily, right? So I just have them just outside the top 10. And that is actually the Giants. I do actually have them down this low. Like I said, I think this is the bottom end of where I think they'll probably end up being. I think that they have a pretty good chance of being a top 10 team based on what we've seen from them and their growth. But again, it comes down to I just want to see more of that growth. Like, is Jones actually finally fucking here after 5 fucking years? Like, is he finally here? That's what I want to know.
I feel you. My number 12 team was also my number 12 team in our last power rankings, and it is Seattle.
Okay.
And it has to do with the fact that I like JSN. He looked good in the preseason. They've got that other cornerback now to play across from Woolen, because they picked up that Witherspoon from Illinois, yep. Who I think is gonna be that's gonna be a nasty.
Oh, he'll be good.
Combo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the two of them are just gonna shut things down. Their defense is gonna keep them in a lot of games that they probably have no business being in. And even if he stumbles, as we were mentioning Geno, Drew Lock looked actually pretty good in the preseason.
He did. Yes.
And they could transition to that. And then don't forget about Kenneth Walker III, whom I think is going to really make some noise this year.
Sure.
So I think they're going to be right here again. I do think they could make the playoffs again. Are they going to win their division?
They could.
Probably not, because
San
Francisco. We'll get to them when we get to them. Alrighty, number 11.
This team, this is the team that I want to put in my top 10, but I just fucking can't because their fucking coach fucks it up all the time. It's the goddamn Chargers.
As soon as you said it, I knew who it was.
They deserve to be in the top 10,
They
but
do.
the only reason they're not is it's their fucking coach. The only reason.
Yup, 100%. My number 11 team is, there's also a coaching issue in my opinion, but we'll get to that later. And they always seem to find a way to tantalize you and then snatch it the fuck away from you. And it is America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
I had them at 7th previously, and they were above the Giants, and I flipped that around a little bit. Because I feel like the Giants, after watching them in the preseason, I feel like Jones is finally arriving this year, from what I've seen of him in the preseason. You've given him a ton of weapons. They've made a ton of moves. The Cowboys made moves. Yeah, they got Gilmore. They've done a few things, but I don't know if it's enough to keep up with the arms race that has become the NFC East.
That's true. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think
Washington's closer than people think too.
Yeah, I think all 4 of those teams are going to beat the snot out of each other. And
there's only one team that's the big obvious,
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles are obviously the top of that pile, and the other 3 are just going to pound the crap out of each other for second place.
Pretty much.
It's going to be fun to watch, but I think Dallas comes out on the lower end of that this year just because Dak's starting to get older, and I don't like
I agree with that.
I don't like McCarthy, but
I agree with that.
That's just me. So I have them at 11.
I agree with that.
10.
So we're finally at our top 10, and this is where I finally decided to put my old Vikings. Now, I want to say why I think that they are a top 10 team, because I know you have them a little lower than you do.
Mm-hmm.
Not by a substantial amount. I think, 5 picks?
Only like 5 spots.
So the reason why I put them top 10 is I think their offense actually got better than last year. While Kirk is a question, I think Addison is an upgrade for Thielen. I hate to say it, but I think he actually is. TJ Hockenson is going to be there for the full season now rather than partway through the season. Their O-line looks still good enough. And it looks like the playbook is going to work out really well in the second year versus just the first year. I think they're going to look good. And then you compare to the fact last season, obviously, I think we can all agree that there was a lot of wins that were pretty fluky, that we barely managed to scrape by. But add on that we have a definitely improved defense, and I think that makes them that much scarier. I think this is overall a better team than it was last year, and they were already considered a top 10 team for quite a while last year. So, that's where I'm going with it.
We'll see. My number 10, the Baltimore Ravens.
Fair.
I previously had them 9th. Look, it's going to be an absolute slugfest for the top of the AFC North. I think the Bengals have the edge, but oh my god, they're almost every team in their division is going to compete for that title. Even the Browns are going to compete. I just don't think that they're going to come through. I don't have as much faith in them as I do in the other 3 teams. So, yeah. I'm not hating on them. I like Odell. I like Zay Flowers. If Lamar can hold up for an entire season, I think they're going to be really dangerous. But that's
whenever when he does, he looks. The team goes well,
when he's
but
out
it's
there,
all
the team moves great. The problem is he's got to stop trying to be a running back and a quarterback. Look, does he do a lot of damage with his legs? Yes, but he'll do more damage if it's surprising. If you make the run as an option rather than as your primary form of attack with him, and he gets his passing right, now he's got the chance to run if he needs to, rather than I'm running for my life because I have to.
Right.
All right. Number 9.
So, number 9, a team that I think, again, another team that I think improved quite a bit. The last NFC North team, the Lions, I have them at 9. I think in my book, it comes down to the Vikings or Lions taking the number 1 spot. I think the Lions will have a very good chance to just barely squeak over the Vikings in this case. but it's going to be a slugfest for first between the Lions and Vikings, in my opinion.
Can't say I blame you for that. I had the Lions up higher, and there were other teams that just moved above them. Like this one.
I get it.
Like this one. My number 9. The Steel Curtain.
Ah, you really did put them up there more than I did. Okay.
Yeah, they were previously 13th for me. I think they are the most improved team in the AFC North. I am really high on Pickett. I am really high on Pickens. I'm really high on that team.
You just like it because you can say Pickett to Pickens.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. But no, Najee Harris is really good.
Najee Harris, yeah.
Their defense is amazing. TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick and just everything. And now they've got friggin' what's his name? Joey Porter Jr. You know?
Joey Porter Jr., yep.
I think their team is going to be really, really good. And if I were anybody in that division, I'd be looking at them going, yeah. And now you've got 2 tight ends that I think, with Darnell Washington and Freiermuth, I think they're going to be really dangerous. I'm expecting good things out of this Steelers team. And of course, it's still Tomlin. You know? It's flipping Mike Tomlin. At worst, they're going to be 500.
True. True.
All right. Number 8.
Man, I don't like doing this. I'm going to put a team at 8 that I think a lot of people are going to dislike. A lot of people are going to really hate me putting them here. Really, really hate me for putting them here. I honestly think their window is starting to close more than people think it is. And I am putting the Bills here. Like, I legitimately am putting the Bills here. I think their window is closing fast on them. And it's... Man, it's just a team that always seems to be so close, yet not quite enough. And we've seen it now 3 years in a row. I'm starting to cool off on them, to be honest. I just am.
They're not much higher up on mine, by the way. And I feel about the same as you do. However, at my number 8, I had a team that I previously had 10th. They jumped up to 8th. And that's the New York City Giants. In Danny Dimes we trust. Look, Darren Waller is going to be, I think he's going to have a great year. They've got enough talent in that wide receiver room. Signing Saquon Barkley was a huge boon. And their defense looks a lot more improved than what it has. I think they're going to be a great team in the NFC East. I'm actually very high on them. I think this is the year that everybody goes, oh yeah, that's why we gave that contract to Danny Jones.
That's fair.
Number 7.
Hold on. I'm now going through my 1 through going down and figuring out which spot this is going to be.
I got you.
Oh, people are going to really hate me how I've already done this. Oh, no. I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are going to hate everything after this pick. At 7, I have the Ravens. For pretty much the same reasons you brought up before, but I just think that they're going... I have faith that that Lamar will stick around, and you're going to see that offense pop off really early. If he can stick around, like you said, I think that they are going to be electric and even potentially better than this, but...
I'm not going to say you're wrong.
Yeah.
They definitely finally have wide receiver talent.
Yeah.
3 of them that I think are pretty doggone good, with Odell and Flowers and Bateman. So, and then you got Andrews too. So,
exactly.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a really good team. I just don't know if Lamar holds up an entire season. That's my biggest.
I don't know either, but for some, I don't know. I feel like if there's going to be a season that he does, it's going to be this season. I don't know why. I just got a weird feeling.
All right, so my number 7. People are probably going to yell at me for this.
We're both kind of in that boat now at this point.
The San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
They were previously 6th, and I dropped them by 1 because Bosa is holding out. And that's a key cog of your defense.
Yep.
Without Nick Bosa, your defense is not going to be as good. That man stirs a lot of drinks. Just by being on the field. And now, with you trading away Lance and getting dick all for him after giving up a fucking ransom to move up and get him, you are now hitched to Purdy. For better or worse. You better hope that what you saw last year is what he is, and not a flash in the
Don't
pan.
lie, they still have Darnold.
And actually, he looked really good in the preseason, so I'm not
so
mad about
he
that.
could legitimately be okay.
Legitimately, Darnold could be the guy too, and if he is, great. I
hate to say it, but it kind of feels like they're waiting for Kirk, because I've heard so many things that they're the team that's going to go after Kirk when he hits free agency. I've heard so many times. Yeah. I've heard so many things that links Cousins to the 49ers. And this makes so much sense if that's what they're doing.
Maybe. We'll have to see how it all plays out. And I think...
Like, if Purdy is not being the guy, I could definitely see them pulling the trigger for it.
Yeah, I could too.
Because they have a great O-line that would be able to protect him. So.
Yeah. The thing is, I've never seen a team fumble the bag harder than the 49ers with Trey Lance.
The only thing I can think of was that really bad Vikings trade way back when, but
Yeah. But I mean,
that's pretty bad fumble.
I mean, you moved up a lot to go get him, and then guys that were taken after him are still with their teams and look better, and
Again, not all on Lance's fault either.
Bad. No.
That's the worst part is it's not even his fault.
No, it's mostly, to me, it's 49ers management that screwed the pooch on that.
Yep.
All right. But, yeah, that's my number 7, and it's mostly because, you got Bosa holding out. You've got questions still at quarterback. Is Purdy really the guy? So, lots of questions there. But I could be eating my words by the end of the season. We'll see.
Could be.
Number 6.
It's funny, though, because, before we did the Ravens, I mentioned how everything after my Ravens pick was going to get ugly because I thought people were going to get upset. And then you said the same thing because I had the 49ers at 6. Yeah, people aren't going to like that. But I think there's other teams that have been on the rise while the 49ers kind of stayed the same. That's not to say that they're bad because they have a solid offense and a really good defense. But I think there's a couple other teams that have just gotten a little better than they have.
So my number 6 was my number 5 previously. And I have it the same thing for you that you had it. You dropped them a little further than I did. But it's the Bills. The window is still open, but it's closing rapidly.
It's closing.
And you still have issues at running back, which has always been your Achilles heel. And one of the big cogs on your defense is starting the season on the PUP.
Mm-hmm.
Because he blew out his ACL last year.
Yep.
Von Miller. So, look, Josh Allen is still young enough that you guys could rebuild around him again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But the window with this current team is shutting fast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Agreed.
So, number 5.
Man, if we want to talk about a meteoric rise of any team that's going into my top 10, this team is the fucking Jets. Holy shit. The meteoric rise on the fucking Jets. I don't know where they were at my previous, but I think we had them in the 20s. They shot fast as fuck.
Because I had them way higher than that. They didn't.
Did you? I think I had them down in the 20s because we weren't sure about with Rodgers at the time if he was being traded to the Jets or not.
I looked at it and said, everything else looks really good.
Yeah, everything else still looks good, but there was still question marks. Now with Rodgers, this is easily a top 5 team at this point. And it's not because Rodgers is there. It's because Rodgers is there and is happy. And that's a dangerous combination.
That's why my first wide receiver off the board for my team was Garrett fucking Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's going to see the ball a lot.
By the way, I had the 3rd overall pick, and the 3rd overall pick was Christian fucking McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
No,
just hope he doesn't get injured because that's what fucked me last time.
Yeah, but JJ, of course, was the 1st overall pick.
First overall pick's JJ. Yep, that's pretty common.
Pretty common. All right, my number 5 team was my number 4 team, and the reason that these next 2 teams got moved down is because I moved another team up higher. You can guess which team it is. But my number 5 team are the boys from Duval. They do crack my top 5. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I will say this: don't sleep on them. They are going to take the AFC by fucking storm.
Oh, yeah.
They are going to be really good, especially now that they have 2 wide receivers easily, plus Evan Ingram for friggin'
and a good running back
for T-Law to hit too, and they've got Etienne. They've got good running backs. They've got a defense that looks good and motivated. Jacksonville is going to take the league by storm. Be very, very careful. Do not sleep on this team. They are built to win.
Absolutely.
Number 4.
Now I'm doing something that slightly disgusts me in my core a little bit here, but only because the other 3 teams I think are going to be so fucking good. And my 4th team here, I am a little worried about injuries a little bit. So I am actually putting the Bengals here at 4. I want to put them higher, but I am a little worried. Is that injury really a big, like, is it going to be one of those long, the injury that Joe has, is it going to be just as simple as he's back, it's fine, everything's all good? Or is it going to be one of those nagging injuries that bothers him throughout the whole fucking season? Because what he has could easily do that.
So I also have the Bengals at 4. They were previously at 3. And it's because of that Joe Burrow injury. To me, do you sit him the first couple of weeks just to be safe? You know? And if
can you even afford to do that, though?
Do you
because with how
exactly. Do you stumble out of the gate then, and does that cost you down the stretch of the long run? So
who knows?
There's a lot of questions about that, and can you sacrifice the now for the future? Because if you play him now and he gets even hurt worse, then you're really boned.
Really boned, exactly.
And who knows how that would affect his future with the team, a la RG3.
Mm-hmm.
So if you let him rest, though, and you don't make it this year, does that cost you as the coach your job? I don't think it would, because you...
Probably not, with where they've been going recently.
Playing, absolutely not. I don't think so. But it's something that you as a person have to consider. It sounds like he'll be ready for week 1.
Sounds like it.
It's one of those things where I'm worried about it too.
Yep.
Number 3.
I'm doing it. This is where my Jacksonville boys go. Number fucking 3. I want to put them higher, but for obvious reasons, I can't. But, oh boy. They are the team that I think has the best chance to knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs. Legitimately. I love what I've seen on... Yeah, they almost did it last year. I love what I see on paper. I love what we've seen in preseason. Trevor Lawrence has continued to somehow get even better than the previous year every fucking year. I think this team is ready to fucking go. And they were almost ready to go last year. Now imagine with fucking Ridley now. Holy shit, this is going to be a scary team.
All right, so you and I flip-flop 3 and 5, because at number 3 I have the Jets, Jets. Yep. And it all comes down to happy Aaron Rodgers. Also, Dalvin flippin' Cook.
They do have Cook, too.
They do have Cook, too, which I think allows them to rest Hall longer if they need to. And they can actually do two-headed monster running back attacks now. You know, you can flip-flop them in and out for what you need.
Heck, can you imagine if they're both in the backfield? You go, which one of them's getting the ball?
That's ooh, I don't even want to think about that. Right? Now they've got Lazard, and they've got Cobb, and they've got, Wilson.
It's gonna be a mean team for sure.
Who won the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. Don't think he should have, but he did. So let's not get mad about that. And then Sauce Gardner in the secondary.
Sauce Gardner, yeah.
Their defense is just retardedly good. Look, they are probably going to win the AFC East. Probably. But and they could make a legitimate run to the Super Bowl this year, and they're one of the teams I feel like they could.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whether or not they do is going to be questionable.
The only reason I have them at 5 is because I just want to see Aaron Rodgers play a full fucking game with them first. That's the only reason.
I feel you, but
they easily could go. They could easily jump up on my rankings. Yeah. Like they just could.
Number 2. Here's where you and I are going to split like 2 pins at the end of a lane.
I can't do it, guys. The Eagles is 2. I just can't put them at 1. I can't do it. I will not put the Eagles at 1. I can't do it. They're number 2. Get over it.
I have Kansas City at 2, and it has to do with obviously you've got Kansas City at 1. But let's talk about it real quick between the two of us and why I have the Eagles at 1. And I mean, obviously your bias plays in because you hate the fucking Eagles.
Absolutely. I don't. You're not. Granted, I do think I do believe that. In all honesty, that I do believe Chiefs are right now better than the Eagles, in my opinion. Even outside of how the Eagles have improved, I think the Chiefs have also improved in slightly different ways.
See,
but that's just me.
I'm not sure about that because, again, I mean, their wide receiver room is, again, who? But
doesn't matter when Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback.
Mahomes, hold your arms out.
That's what I was going to say. That's why their wide receiver room doesn't matter.
Now, the reason why I dropped them is because Chandler Jones.
I don't think that's going to make as big of a difference as people think it does. On most teams, yes. On the Chiefs, I'm not. I'll put it this way.
Pro defensive line.
You're right. You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. But what I'm saying is when you have Mahomes throwing your offense, your defense just has to be good enough.
At this point,
they don't have to be great.
And I think I think
but that's what they've always done.
Made so many more improvements, especially by getting like DeAndre Swift, and then they grabbed Carter. One of the best defensive tackles, a generational defensive tackle.
I'm not disagreeing. I don't know. I guess my big concerns is we need to see if Hurts can have another big year because he had an outstanding year. No one can disagree with that. Are we going to get the same thing, though? Or was that just because...
Yeah, and I see where you're coming from on that, but
and then on top of that, their O-line is questionable at this point.
They brought most of their O-line from the Super Bowl back.
They did. But if you remember, there was that 2-game stretch where there seemed to be issues, and I'm wondering if teams have started to figure out ways to crack that O-line.
Maybe, but we'll have to see how. And we also had issues with Sanders fumbling the football.
Mm-hmm.
And with when Sanders fumbled, now bringing in Swift, let's see how that changes things. And they also have Rashad Penny now, and they have a two-headed.
Yeah, but he's got an injury problem.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, Swift, I think, could be really good.
Swift will be the big one, yeah.
Yeah. So, the point that I'm trying to make is I feel like from what I've already seen of Hurts, where I saw him even before last season, he was playing the previous season by the end of it, and then they took him out. And I watched that basically ran Carson Wentz out of town. And I think he's good enough to do it again. I really
probably.
Do. From what I've seen, he's got the talent.
Yeah.
I'm
not... Yeah, I think you're probably right, but I want to see it again before I can crown them as, I admit that my bias is definitely pushing them down a little bit. So if you're going to prove it, do it another year, and then you'll have to force me to put you up again. Because, that's just... Remember, at the end of last year, I did do that, so...
Yeah, no,
I do it again.
I get where you're coming from, but, like I said, I have a feeling that they're going to be really good again. Regardless,
I just have a hard time betting against Andy Reid and Mahomes.
You just like Philadelphia, so. Alrighty.
I also just really like Andy Reid. I love that guy. He's just a big teddy bear.
I can't say that you're wrong. I like Andy Reid too. He looks like he would
go
for potato wedges every time.
Dude, he looks like the guy you could sit down and just have a beer with at the bar and not realize you're talking to Andy Reid.
Yeah,
Like,
there's that. All right.
before we move on, I'm gonna get another drink since we finished up our 1 to 32.
All right. Let's do our spicy takes. We are calling these the 2023 spicy season takes. And these are things that we think in a universe could happen. And they're going to be a little caliente, huh?
Just a little.
Just a little.
Except for the very last one, which hopefully will be a big spicy meatball.
Hopefully that will be a spicy meatball. All right. You want to start or you want me to start this time?
I'll go with the first one. I'll go with the first one.
What do you got?
CJ Stroud will be better than Bryce Young this year.
Ooh, that's pretty spicy. That's pretty spicy. I disagree. I disagree.
Disagree,
Just
all
what
right.
I've seen, I think Bryce Young has more weapons around him, and that's the only reason.
I would normally tend to agree, but I just...
Something about it?
Something about it. I just feel like... I don't know. Hard to say.
Alrighty. Here's the tamest one that I have. Jimmy G won't finish as the Raiders starter. By the end of the season, the job will belong to Aiden O'Connell.
Ooh. Unless Jimmy gets injured, I do not believe that. That's the only way that happens, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to see it, because I'm fucking tired of seeing Jimmy G, but, you know, that's just me.
You gotta admit, that's a spicy take, though.
It is. Alright. Fourth one. Let's see here. I don't know if I want to go that spicy yet. That'll be the next one, I think. Ooh. No, I can't do that. Oh, but I'm going to. The Bills do not make playoffs this year.
Ooh. Caliente. There's a world that it happens. I'm going to be honest. There's a world that it happens. Mm-hmm. Because that AFC East, if the Dolphins string enough together and the Jets supplant them as the top team in that East.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a world it happens in. I don't know if it'll happen, but there's a world
I don't know
it
either,
does.
but it could happen, yeah.
It could happen. All right. Number 4. The Pittsburgh Steelers will surprise everyone and take home the AFC North crown.
No, I can't agree with that one. But I can see a world where it could happen, but I don't agree with it.
Pick it to Pickens for the win.
I just can't. All right. Oh, God. I said I was going to save this for 3, but I think it's actually spicy enough where I might actually have to save it for 2. Which one should I go for 3? Ooh. Number 3. The Cardinals will not be dead last this year.
Ooh, I thought about that one too, but I thought mine was going to be more along the lines of the Cardinals will win at least 2 games.
That's the spicy take. They'll win 2 games. Fair.
Sad.
It is.
But I could see a world in which that's plausible.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll happen.
Legitimately,
legitimately,
I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I could honestly, if JT does not play for the Colts, I could actually see them being dead last.
And I could see that too. And then also, you got.
The question mark with the Rams.
If Dobbs or Toon puts it together and they decide to name one of them the starter, and they finally get moving, and then the Rams could be a dumpster fire. Yeah, no, there's a world that it happens in. Currently, we're not in that world right now.
No, we're not.
There's a world that happens in. Which one of these 2 do I want to do? Let's do this one. The Denver Broncos will make the playoffs behind comeback player of the year, Russell Wilson.
You know, I can see that happening. I'm not actually going to even disagree with that one. I could totally see that happening.
It's a hot take.
It's a hot take, but I could see it. I mean, they got a good coach with Sean Payton, so if there's anyone that's going to do it, yeah, I can see it.
What do you got at number 2 for me?
Oh, now we're getting into the spicy. This honestly could probably be my spiciest, but I'm making my spiciest the most absurd thing possible. So, this one is instead not my spiciest, but it's definitely a big spicy take. Deshaun Watson will lead the Browns to a deep playoff run.
You know what? I could see it. Like I said when I
it's
put
fucking
them on
spicy
there,
though.
It's spicy, but when I put them on there, I said they could either win the North or totally be the worst team in the North, and I don't know what we're gonna see.
Yep.
Here's my spicy number 2. I'm saving my number 1 for a Vikings related one. I don't know if it's spicier than this.
Okay.
I don't know if it's spicier than this. I think this might be the spiciest take I've got. Sam Howell will have a better statistical season than Dak Prescott.
Ooh. Oh, I don't know about that one, Chief. The world and where that happens is pretty fucking slim. No offense.
I told you,
that's
it's spicy.
That's almost absurd.
But it's plausible. In my mind, at least. Doesn't have to be in yours.
I don't know if I agree with it, but it's potentially possible. So obviously with my first one, I'm going super ridiculous. Like, the world in which this happens is paper thin. But Kirk Cousins leads the Vikings to a fucking Super Bowl. Let's go.
That's spicier than mine for the Vikings. That's spicier than mine for the Vikings. Is there a world that it happens in? Yeah. Our defense is good enough that it's possible.
Yeah.
But...
very unlikely.
Oh, very unlikely. Kirk wilts so much under pressure.
Oh, he does.
Mine is not nearly that spicy for the number 1, but it is a Vikings-related one. Alexander Mattison will rush for more yards this season than Dalvin Cook does for the Jets.
You know what? I'm actually going to agree with that one. I only because Cook is going to split so much, I think, with Hall, where Madison is only splitting with potentially Ty Chandler, but I don't think it's going to be quite an even split like it will be with the Jets.
No, I don't think it will be either.
So I could actually totally see that happening.
All right. Let's get into the picks.
This is where I need the beer.
Thursday, September 7th.
Oh, God.
Opening game of the season. Lions at Chiefs.
I love you, Lions, but I don't love you that much. The Chiefs are taking that.
Let me see my... Where do I got him in here? I don't. Okay. Hold on.
No, you're good.
I agree with you. I agree that it will be the Chiefs. Sunday, September 10th. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Minnesota Vikings.
The Bucks have improved, but I don't know if it'll be enough with their QB. That's... Yeah. It'll be close, but I gotta pick Vikings.
I also think it'll be close, but I will also take the Vikings. And for basically the same reason. I want Baker to prove it to me. Look, I'm on board, but that Vikings defense is going to really be a test for him. If he can chew it up, then maybe you got something.
Yep.
If it chews him up, you might have some problems.
Mm-hmm.
Texans at Ravens.
Oh, that's Ravens all day long.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. It just is. As long as Lamar is healthy, it's going to be hard to bet against him.
Exactly. I 100% agree. Um, that's hard to bet against them, but I get why somebody might.
Yeah.
Bengals at Browns.
I'm taking the Bengals there as
You know what?
in hopes that Burrow plays. If Burrow doesn't play, it likely will go to the Browns. But if Burrow plays, I think Burrow
I'm going to say
takes the
even
Bengals
if
to the
Burrow
victory
plays,
there.
he's not 100%, and I'm going to take the Browns.
Okay.
Normally, I'd take the Bengals, but as we've mentioned, Watson could be good this year. We'll see.
Could be.
Titans at Saints.
I think that'll be pretty close, actually. But I think this is Derek Carr's revenge tour, so I think it's going to go Saints.
I also picked the Saints. There's something about it that says that he's on a roller right now.
Yeah. From what I've seen, he just looks like he's on a tear. He's going to go off.
Panthers at Falcons.
Oh. You know, if the Falcons can get their running game going like they should, then I think that they'll ultimately just wear down the Panthers, so I'm going to go Falcons.
I will take the Panthers because I think I like their defense better. And even with the young rookie quarterback, again, I think there's enough weapons that I think in the end, I think it'll be a close game, though. Alrighty. I'm already going to mark us down for this one because I already know who both of us are going to pick. Jaguars at Colts.
Jaguars.
Jaguars. Is this even a question?
If the Colts somehow win this game, then we have to really reevaluate the Jaguars.
Or really reevaluate what the Colts are.
That too.
I don't know about this one. This one's going to be a tough one for me. 49ers at Steelers.
Ooh, that's going to be an interesting game.
That's going to be a game, dude.
I think I'm going to go Steelers. I'm going to go Steelers.
I will also go Steelers. It's primarily because they are at Heinz. Well, it's not Heinz Field anymore, but it's still fucking.
No,
Heinz.
I forgot what they call it.
Three River Stadium now or something.
Something like that.
Whatever.
I was so close to saying 49ers, but I think the Steelers just have enough moxie to come out on top there.
I agree. I think the Steelers take that one, but it also without Bosa in the lineup again. There's something about it that says that there's just enough to exploit there for the Steelers to win that.
Right.
For the game that is probably going to be everybody's turn it off game of the week. Cardinals at Commanders.
I mean, I'm picking the Commanders. I don't have any faith in the Cardinals.
I agree.
Absolutely zero.
I agree. Raiders at Broncos.
Broncos.
I agree, but I really want to say Raiders. If it were Aiden O'Connell starting, I might go Raiders.
I still wouldn't. He's too green. But that's just me.
Or if I knew how Tyree Wilson was. Like, if I knew that he was 100%.
Fair.
Dolphins at Chargers.
I'm going with the Chargers. I'm really hoping that they've not. I'm just hoping that they don't let their coach fuck it up anymore, please.
I agree with you, because they're going to be pretty much fully healthy.
Yeah.
Looks like they're ready to go. I don't know.
Some of the decisions he fucking makes. I'm praying that he's learned his lesson from last year, but I doubt it.
Okay, this should be an easy one for both of us. I know you're going to want to... Yeah. Eagles at Patriots.
I hate the Eagles, but it's definitely going to be the Eagles.
I knew you were going to be like... I almost thought you were going to be tempted to pick against them just because you hate...
I mean, if they were against a better team, maybe, but I just... Listen, if the Patriots beat the Eagles, it's going to make me really reevaluate what the Patriots are.
And really reevaluate what the Eagles are.
It depends on who plays well, but yeah.
Alright, it's going to hurt my soul to do this one. Packers at Bears.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm doing it anyways. Fucking Bears.
I think it's going to be the Packers. I hate to do it. It hurts my damn soul.
If the Bears are going to do it, it's going to be when they're all healthy. That's the only thing I'm saying. Like, it's the only It's the only thing I'm going off of.
No, and I don't think you're entirely wrong, but at the same time,
it was a tough call. Yeah, I know.
That hurts my soul. Rams at Seahawks.
Seahawks. I love Matthew Stafford, but I don't have any faith in that Rams team at all.
I agree. Oh, here's the fun one. You ready? The Sunday night game. Cowboys at Giants.
Giants.
I agree.
Prove me wrong, Cowboys.
Yeah, prove us wrong. And the Monday night game. Bills at Jets.
Jets.
I agree with you. I think it'll be a hell of a game, though.
It'll be a hell of a game. It'll be a fun game, but... Jets,
all right,
yeah.
So we do disagree on one...
I think we only disagree on,
three things. So we're either going to be really wrong or really right.
Yeah.
And I don't know there's going to be much in between. But there is enough divisiveness between the two of us that one of us will be a winner and one of us will be a loser.
Probably.
So, all right. That pretty much will bring to a close this week's episode of the Bearded Brothers podcast. Tune in next week when we talk about... We won't be able to do a full recap because, we're probably going to record Saturday, and the only game that'll be done will be on Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
But we'll probably look ahead at week 2 and put in our bets for...
Rough guesses, yeah.
Yeah, do that. But we will definitely review the Thursday game. That will have happened by the time we record next. And if any other games, like if we end up recording on a Monday rather than on a weekday, we will definitely talk about week 1. Otherwise, if we record on a Saturday, we'll talk about week 1 after we, not next week, but the week after.
We might be a little staggered.
Yeah. All right, guys. In the meantime, we'll see you all next week. We hope that you enjoy yourselves. We hope that if you like what we do here, that you can give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe. Let us know that you enjoy the content that we make. If you don't, nobody cares.
Don't watch it if you don't like it.
Don't watch
That's
it
pretty
if you
easy.
don't want to. Look, we're out here doing it because we enjoy making it regardless. We just want to know if any of you enjoy looking at our ugly faces.
Probably not, but
I
that's
should
okay.
probably warn people, in the next couple of weeks, you might see me on here with some glasses. Until next time, we hope that you all are awesome. We hope that everybody has a great week. peace out. Remember, fear